So it appears the wheels are in motion in a sense. Morten Ryberg, who is the product director for the division, just recently posted about his trip, his business trip pretty much to Bucharest, where he's pretty much going to be doing a meet and greet with the team that's been working on the division so far. He said in his tweet over here, just posted, I guess, a few hours ago, depending on your time zone, looking forward to meeting the team here in BUC. My guess is this is Bucharest, hoping for a productive year 5 sync and meet and greet. So my guess is they've been working on this game in collaboration remotely for the most part. So this is some exciting stuff. I guess maybe he'll be able to get kind of a good feel as to how the team is progressing in regard to maybe playing the project and so on and so forth. That's probably not a big problem because, the game is basically server based. So I'm sure he's probably gotten his hands on a bunch of the content. Something, however, is a little strange in my opinion. I want to highlight it just shortly. I'm not going to talk too much about it because you guys know me. I like to hypothesize. But that is the fact that Yannick has been very quiet lately. Now, I can understand, but if you look at Yannick's last post surrounding anything Division-esque or Division-based, it's been a while. He may be watching this video and then he may go ahead and update his profile, but hey, Yannick, you're the creative director, so maybe update your profile about the new update coming, or maybe continue to stay quiet and confirm my suspicions that you're working on something that you don't want us to know about. Wink, wink. Anyways, when you think about all of this in perspective, you think about how the developers have been able to continue this game in regard to support. I think all of these different logistical issues that have really plagued gaming over the last few years, after we had people work from home and some people stay home and many people leave studios that they were in just because of the either convenience or inconveniences, I think we're starting to see now that this game, and the developers anyways, and the publisher is committed to continuing this support. Another thing, too, that might lend credence to this is the theory that a lot of people have pretty much put out there. And I've been seeing it around the conversations that have been taking place. Someone said if they don't continue to support the division, it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to get any support for Heartland. So this support that they're actually giving with the division as a whole, in my opinion, is something that actually benefits them in a much further sense. It will also provide some kind of a baseline, or I would say coverage, to hold off gamers until they finish with their Heartland project. And the Heartland project is being worked on by Red Storm anyways, but it is still a Division, Tom Clancy, Ubisoft product in a sense, so there needs to be that collaboration going on. When you also consider a lot of the teams that are in Massive have moved to start helping finish up this or whatever they're doing, the Avatar game, and working on the Star Wars game, I think it makes a whole lot of sense why now the division is going to be carried by external studios. I wish somewhere deep down within me, though, that Heartland had taken the posture of being a full-fledged division product. But wishes and Business 101 don't necessarily gel. If you notice, the whole live service move and shift is something that's being made across the board. In fact, even publishers like Sony that have usually prided themselves in bringing single-player experiences are starting to not only cave in, but go full-fledged all in. In fact, if we look at this article here that was written May of last year, this article was written May 26th of 2022 here on TechCrunch's platform. And this says, after buying Bungie, Sony goes all in on live service games. Now, the headline doesn't even have the weight of exactly what this reality is. This is one of those times where the headline is underwhelming because you come to paragraph number 2, you'll see that Sony is expecting to spend about 49% of its PlayStation Studios development budget on live service games by the end of the year. So by the end of their 2022 year, I don't know if it's their 21-22 or 22-23 year, they were wanting to move their budget. They were basically wanting to go 49% in. By 2025, Sony plans to bump that up to 55%. So I can see where the competition is coming from. Because as much as many may continue to talk about, say, these big publishers and choosing the games that probably don't seem to resonate with their fans, we have to understand that it's just because Ubisoft did not necessarily, in my opinion, pick the right products to make live service. Them taking, or at least pick the right product to make the right live service versions of. I guess that's how you should put it, because Division is a live service game. So in them making their live service push, I think they probably made some really interesting choices. And those choices are evident, like Ghost Recon Frontline heavy pushback from people in the Tom Clancy community. Tom Clancy's X Defiant, heavy pushback from people in the community, even to the point where they scrapped the Tom Clancy name and then just called it X Defiant. So they had a plethora of IPs that they could have basically used, or at least they could have made offshoots of, but then decided that they were going to go all in with that brand recognition, but it basically backfired. It was not a good strategy overall. But Sony is going in, and they're also using brand recognition, and then they also have the advantage of having a platform that's already there with a lot of users. So PlayStation is not going to have too much problems marketing in terms of, exposing their games to new players, because they already have your PlayStation. They can put their new game on your homepage. It's not going to be a problem. So I can see where Ubisoft is probably, in a sense, trying to make do, and is, in a sense, probably panicking. But again, these are the ails of them not, supporting their Division franchise as best as they possibly could. They had the opportunity to do it in the Division 1, but instead they decided that they were going to divest those dollars into a Division 2 project. Now I can see the ramifications, even though I like the Division 2 and I like the Division 1 and I appreciate the fact that Division 2 was made, but no one could have seen today. And today seeing it, it makes a whole lot of sense that those who said they should have stuck with Division 1 were probably saying it from a part of nostalgia, but some of them were onto something at that point, because seeing how the market and the industry has changed, how a lot of other studios, a lot of other publishers are seeming to catch up, or at least wanting to invest, it makes a whole lot of sense why, if they had just stuck with that Division 1 concept, continue to build on it, continue to find goodwill from their communities and their audiences, or even made a remaster of it, that would have probably resonated very well. It would have been a brand called The Division. Very straightforward, no problems, no confusion, and so on and so forth. Just the way Destiny was able to purposefully get things done, but their name and their branding is also very simple. So even if there's a Destiny 2 or a Destiny, it doesn't really make sense. But a Division 1 and Division 2, all that branding stuff has just been so weird for, the entirety of this franchise overall. But I'm looking forward to year 5. I'm not necessarily, disappointed at it. I'm not against it, seeing that there was probably not going to be a year 5, but somebody or some people were able to analyze and say, hey, we can make money from doing seasons and bringing more yearly content, while our, Heartland game is probably going to be another side project or whatever it may be, which I think makes a lot of sense. They can do that. They could have done that with Ghost Recon. They should have made Ghost Recon a grounded experience and then bring Frontlines as a piece of Ghost Recon that just provided a different kind of play. And players would have been able to say, you know what, why don't we check it out? It's free. There's not really a problem. But then trying to make their Ghost Recon game a live service game, which did not resonate with their audiences, was also kind of a challenge as well. But seeing how business is now back to somewhat normal, and we see our developers and our product managers for the game making moves and making strides, perhaps we're probably going to have a much more smooth year 5 and not have like some really, really unfortunate things that happen, like breaking build, servers or whatever it is that happened like in one of the last updates that, basically went down. And I hope all these things can be mitigated and pushed as far, far away from the development or future support of the Division. Looking forward to year 5. Hopefully we'll get to see in DC/New York, whatever it is. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.